Well, good morning, Math 3 students. Today is week 1, lesson 3, and we are actually continuing our work on radian measures. And so one of the things that we're looking at today is converting from radians to degrees. This is perhaps the more useful direction because if you're seeing an angle and it says pi over 3 and you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't know what that is or where to find that, you can use a couple of things to work that out. So one is to remember that 1 pi is the same as 180 degrees, or that 2 pi is the same as 360 degrees. So of course we're still talking about that rotational angle. And so if you know that you're thinking about the radian measure pi over 3, you would take the top half of your circle and cut it into thirds and try to work out what that measure is in degrees. So how can we do that? Well, we're going to take our radian measure, we're going to divide the pi out of it because we want to remove pi, and then multiply by 180 degrees because every 1 pi is the same as 180 degrees. So here in example 1, we're looking at the radian measure pi over 6. So when we think about taking our radian and dividing by pi, we're going to put pi on the bottom of this particular conversion factor, and then we're going to multiply by 180. So this is not a proportion, this is a multiplication. So when we have pi on top and pi on bottom, they will cancel out. And now we're left with 180 on the top and 6 on the bottom. 180 divided by 6 is 30 degrees. So pi over 6 is equivalent to a 30-degree angle. The same process can be followed for any radian measure, such as 7 pi over 3. I may not know exactly what 7/3 of a circle is, or 7/3 of pi is, but I can use that same conversion factor by dividing out the pi, putting it on the bottom of the conversion factor, and multiplying by 180. So again, we're multiplying here, so anytime there's something on top and bottom, they're going to cancel out. And then we just need to finish multiplying what's left. 7 times 180, and then divide by 3. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So again, Delta Math has that great calculator. If you don't have your own, 7 times 180 divided by 3 is 420 degrees. 420 degrees. So my next question is there a shortcut to this dividing by pi and multiplying by 180? Sorry, my cat wanted to get in the video too, I guess. So we have pi over 4 here, and well, if we divided by pi, the pi would be gone, and then 180 would take its place on top. Anytime you see 1 pi, you can replace it with 180 degrees, because 1 pi radian is 180 degrees. She likes pens. She likes pens a lot. So let's just take the pi out. We'll just take the pi out and put 180 in its place. Now we can take 180 divided by 4, and that's 45 degrees. So pi over 4 is equivalent to 45 degrees. So that's the shortcut. Substitute. Take pi out, put 180 in its place. But what about other problems or other examples that you might see on Delta Math? Like, what is 1.2 radians? So those slices, those angles that we saw, what if there are 1.2 of them and there currently is no pi? Yeah, she's pretty much a brat. I don't know if I can post this. Oh boy. Okay. Come here, kitty. Well, this video is gonna be a little longer than 5 minutes, and it's all her fault. Okay. I've tried to move her off the table 3 times now. It's not working. 1.2 radians. Getting back to that, let's see. We can't just substitute 180 in for pi because there is no pi. So we will have to take the 1.2 radians divided by pi and multiply by 180 degrees. That's the only way for us to do a problem like that. So 1.2 divided by pi, and then multiply by 180. This tells me it's about 68.8 degrees, depending on where they ask us to round. And that makes sense, since 1 radian is about 57 degrees, 1.2 is slightly larger than that. So keep in mind that we do have shortcuts when pi is involved, or we just have to use the formula when we don't have pi. Good luck out there. I'm going to take care of this cat.